Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today's Friday, March 17th. It is 6:24 right now. Market's going to open in about 6 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we will get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a couple of things here to update, and we should be good to go. So all right. Looks good. Perfect. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium, and then we should be good to go. All right, perfect. All right, guys, I'll give it a few more moments for people to make their way in. So a lot of you guys are joining right now. Cool. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today's Friday, March 17th. It is 6:28 right now. Market's going to open in about 2 minutes. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. Looks like majority of you guys are here already. So let's see who's here so far. Morning, Martha. Morning, Sir. And morning, D. Morning, Maddie. Morning, Kenny. Morning, David. Morning, Maria. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Maddie. Morning, Jamie. Morning, Karen. Morning, Jacob. Morning, Vince. Morning, everybody. Morning, Geary. Morning, guys. All right, guys. So market's going to open shortly in about 2 minutes. Just keep in mind that today is Friday. So, be a little careful with your guys' trades. Don't try to force anything. From the testing that Maddie's done and a couple other people, it seems like a lot of the losses happen on Friday, which is expected, right? Because the market's kind of moving all crazy, especially on days like NFP. So Maddie identified 2 losses last week, but they were only on NFP. So just keep that in mind when you guys are trading. I'll be a little careful today at the entries. Obviously I'm going to look for as many confluences as possible. But looking over here on the higher time frame, so looking at everything here, pretty much everything's bearish except for the 1 minute. So the 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 10 minute, 5 minute, all bearish. Not strong bearish bias, but bearish neutral for the most part from the higher time frames. But they are shifting back down. Only time frame right now that's bullish is currently the 1 minute, which is an obvious bullish bias. So we'll take a look at that, and we'll see where we end up going from here. At the moment right now, we currently don't have momentum all in one direction. or actually we do. We have momentum all for bullish right here, but the trend is not bullish here on the 10 and 5. So looking at the momentum scalp entries, there's not really any direction right now at the moment. We're probably going to look for the 1 minute here to choose its direction, whether it continues pushing up or whether it corrects back down. But over here on the higher time frames, these are still bearish. So we'll see if this corrects back down or if it continues pushing up. If that's the case, it doesn't really matter to us because we'll be looking for entries either way. So if there's no entries right now, looks like what we'll be focused on for the most part is basically, Vince's new high-low momentum scalp, which everyone likes. So we'll take a look at that. Let me check the news real quick as well. Thanks to John for mentioning that. So there's news over here at 6:15 and then at 7 o'clock. So I'm just going to mark up news price right there so that, we're aware. For the high-low momentum scalp, I don't think we're really incorporating news, but I'm going to mark it up here anyways because we should. I mean, it's always good to know where news price is. So like in case you don't feel comfortable about a position, you can pull out or you can just not take it. And then we have news over here at 7 o'clock as well. All right, here's a clean chart. I'm going to go and mark up opening price, which is right there. And 8 o'clock. So it looks like price might be correcting down. I mean, I don't know. We'll see where it ends up going. We have a higher high right here. So if we get a sell momentum that closes below these two pivots right here, then there could be possible entry for a high-low momentum scalp. All right, so I'm going to put up the criteria. This is a kind of a big move though. So you might want to. Okay, so there's no entry here because price already broke and closed past it. It needs to break and close those two pivots for it to provide entry. So if there was a sell signal on this one, then it would have been an entry, but there was no sell signal on there. And there's another high low that's producing right here. So just got to sit tight with this real quick. All right, so I'll put up the criteria for the strategy, guys, so that you guys are aware of like how it's applied and whatnot. So first, you're looking to identify a high low, and then so we have the high low right here. Then you're identifying a valid momentum signal. We didn't have it right here. If there was a momentum signal right here, it would have been fine. And then next, you want to confirm price breaks and closes past pivots 1 and or 2 using the pivots indicator. So this right here would not be an entry because price we need a break and close past structure, which is these two lines right here. Price already broke and closed past it right here on the previous candle. So unfortunately, it doesn't meet the criteria for a sell right there. So just gotta wait for the next one. But just like I mentioned earlier, guys, today's Friday, so you want to be a little careful with the entries that you guys, obviously decide to take because it's just really risky right now with how the price is moving around. Let's see what I'm missing over here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to take any entries. Obviously I'm going to try to take entries here, but I don't know if I'll be taking entries because of, market movement today. But I mean, we'll see. If we see something good, then great. If not, then probably just sit tight. So I'll be looking for these entries here. All right, we currently have a lower low right here. So if you get a buy signal that crosses above these two pivots right here, then possible entry for a buy. looking over here too, well, it's currently bearish right now, so obviously it's not going to line up. I was trying to see if there'd be an actual momentum scalp here. So actually this one right here would be a momentum scalp variation, but there's no alignment with regard to trend right now. So you can't really take those entries. For a momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp, you want an overall trend across the time frames right here on the 1 minute. You can see price is still bullish. It's just pulling down right now at the moment. So not one I'd necessarily take. It's also right at the session. So I mean, not sessions, the news price. So it's not really a good area to be trading in. But everything here is pretty much bearish. Also, there's no sell momentums on the 5 and 10. So as you guys can see, it's a bit of a messy market right now. So for our original entries that we look at, we need a sell signal across the 5 and 10 for the momentum scalp failure and momentum scalp variation and regular momentum scalp. You need a sell signal across the 5 and 10. So we don't have that yet. Market's pretty volatile right now. So yeah, exactly. Maddie said slippage. Yeah, you want to be careful with the market because it's spiking around back and forth. So like typically what'll happen is it'll fill your order and then the copiers might screw up, like, or they won't screw up, but they'll execute a little later than they should. So there's just no direction right now. 5 and 10 are obviously bearish, but momentum is bullish here. So you don't have the signal that you're looking for. If you get a buy signal right here, this is technically going to be an entry for a high-low momentum scalp. So we don't really care what's going on over here right now because it's not really too useful. The market movement right now is pretty crazy though. It's super volatile. So you want to be careful because I don't think a 1030 split would be useful here. It's too tight. I mean, I guess it could work if you want to have like a super tight TP stop loss, but it is very tight. Probably have to use a 2550. So there's no entry here, guys. I think this is the main thing that people are probably going to get. They're going to mistake a lot. I think it's the third step, confirming price breaks and close past pivots 1 and 2. If it's easier for you guys on your charts, just turn off the pivots 3 and 4, right? Because this is going to make things a lot easier where you're just looking for price to break and close past these 2 pivots. Like for example, right here, this sell entry was not a sell entry because this candle didn't close below the pivots, 1 or 2. It actually didn't close past any of them. So let's see, I'm going to look for an example here where it actually does close, and I'll show you. So I don't think there was anything over here. This one was close, but it didn't actually, so it's either going to close past 1 and 2 or only 2. That's what the requirement means. So I just want to make sure there's no confusion there. I don't really see any entries here this morning. Yeah, I mean, all these entries should be taken between 6:30 and 8 anyways. So in order for us to have an entry right here, I know we have a lower low, but we need price to be below the pivots and have it close above it because that's going to confirm a trend change. And this is the criteria that people should be following. Going over here, it looks like some of you guys here caught some pre-market moves. Vincent over here, he took a buy entry, applying the high-low momentum scalp, total profit of 430 for the day. So nice work right there, Vincent. We have Marie over here. She took a trade as well, total profit of 268. She took a sell earlier. Nice work, Maria. Dijon over here, total profits from pre-market, 345. Great work, Dijon. And yeah, Vincent's profits right there. Here's Natasha's profits pre-market, total profit of 240. Nice work, Natasha. So a lot of you guys here are really catching on to this strategy. So glad to see that. It's not a very difficult strategy. You guys saw my profits from last night as well. Locked in a total profit of 1,060 off my FTMO number one, 920 off my FTMO number two, 880 off my MFF, 850 off my MFF number two, and 860 off my MFF number three. So my profits as well are posted up there. This strategy is pretty incredible. I don't know if you guys have tested it, but if you guys have been testing it, it's like, I mean, it's pretty crazy. So here are Maria's stats. So Maria did her own back test last night. And don't worry, guys, we're not missing anything here. So I'm still looking for entries. There's just nothing for us to take. 5 minute, 10 minutes currently bearish right now. So we're looking for sell signals on these two time frames. And then for the high level momentum scalp, we need price to break and close past these two pivots in order for there to be an entry. So don't worry, you guys are not missing anything right now. So I just want to show you guys Maria's back test. So Maria's back test over here, she pretty much tested the entries for as far as she can go back on her data. So she basically went back for the entire month of March. She basically just went from New York session. So as you guys can see over here, she has all of these here. There's only 4 losses. There's 56 wins and 4 losses for the entire month of March. It's only the March 16 yesterday. So this is technically only like 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, there was 56 wins, 4 losses, 93.33% win rate, and a total profit of 4,400 pips. So if you were taking this with 100 lot, which I typically use, so 4,400 pips times $1,000, or times 100, because it's 100 pips, obviously, and 100 lot size, you'd make about, or sorry, wait, is that right? No, it should be, okay, so 4,400 times 10, because each pip on a 100 lot is $10. That'd be 44,000 on a 200K account. That's how much profit you'd make in 2 weeks if you took every single trade here. So as you guys can see, the results here are pretty remarkable with regard to consistency and ability to lock in, trades. If you look over here, there's no losses between 6:30 and 8. So, I mean, it's pretty solid for the most part. Yeah, Maria said from New York Open up until noon. Yeah, Vince said looks like the losses are after 8. Exactly. So if you guys trade only from 6:30 to 8, like we do here in the live session, there should be like no losses for the entire month of March, which is pretty incredible. That's why I'm pretty excited to apply it here on these live sessions, because win rate's pretty crazy. Maddie over here, he counted from February 21st till March 3rd, 2 weeks, there were 29 wins and 3 losses. So, you guys do the math. That's a lot of opportunity for you guys to, lock in. So basically, I mean, for the most part, it seems like if you guys were to just trade during live session hours, 6:30 to 8, you guys could have a pretty crazy win streak, because all these losses happen after. So these over here happened at like 10 o'clock. So you'd probably be done trading by then. These over here as well. I mean, your cutoff time could be like 9 o'clock if you really want to go out even farther. So, and this is an independent test. I didn't do this test here. You guys can see this is from Maria. This is Maria's back testing strategy. If you guys want to go and back test it yourself, more than welcome. You guys have the criteria here, the requirements. Just go and use the replay function. If you guys want to replay, guys, so this is how you guys would do it. If you guys have the replay function, just go as far back as you can as possible. So you just pull back like this, go as far as you can. So I'm not sure if you guys know this, but if you guys go back like, as far as you need to, like this. So see how it kind of, I mean, mine keeps going farther and farther. But if you ever like run out of time, you can just hit replay and then it'll go back to that specific time. Like for example, right here, I think this is where my cutoff is, February 26th. If you click replay right there, it'll bring you back even further. I don't have my chart, but yeah, basically that's how you would do it. if you wanted to replay the function. So I'm gonna do the back test myself as well. I haven't really had time to do it yet because I've been getting a lot of questions regarding the strategy. But I will be doing my own independent back test at some point in the future. Yeah, exactly. Jacob said he thinks that you can also go back and buy data from TradingView. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, if necessary, I can do that. But I think that the best way to apply this strategy is real time during live market conditions, right? Because if you guys test this during live market conditions, this is going to test your trade psychology. So it's just going to improve your trade psychology doing it live. It's different back testing because you guys are looking for like specific things every time. Like you're looking for those perfect entries. But when you do it live, you know, you have real money involved, or you have a demo account involved, and it kind of puts you in it puts the pressure on you to do things properly. So yeah, thanks, Jacob. If anything, if you guys want to do that and go farther back, you guys can. But I think just going back as far as you can with the data that you currently have is fine enough as is. So for me personally, I think that's kind of going to be my goal. I'm just going to go back as far as I can, back test it, see what the win rate looks like. I'm just going to see if it aligns with everyone else because a lot of you guys here are already doing your own back test. So it'll be cool to incorporate everyone's data and see if there's any changes that need to be made. But I think looking over here at Maria's data, I mean, if we just follow the requirements that she's been following, I mean, it's pretty simple. So Maria did something a little different here. She said, additionally, she follows Vincent's requirement of price closing above or below pivot 3. So, I mean, if you guys want to do that, that's fine too. Like there's always different ways to make changes. For me, I just use pivots 1 and 2, but it's pretty much going to be the same thing as pivot 3 as well. Because if you were just to use pivot 3 here, yeah, kind of, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of similar. I mean, this might be even easier. The only problem is you might miss a couple of trades. Like I think this one over here might have hit. This one right here would have hit too. But I don't really care about like missing trades. I'm more so about finding quality entries. So I'll keep testing it. I'll test it with pivot 3 and I'll test it with pivots 1 and 2. I think right now pivots 1 and 2 are probably the easier ones because it's just easier to you're going to see more entries with pivots 1 and 2, it looks like. Because I'm looking over here, there's a couple entries that came up here, but there's a lot that could have played out but didn't meet criteria. So like, for example, over here, or I mean, this would have been a good one because you would have missed it, but this is pre-market, so I wouldn't have taken the trade. So I think what I'll do here is I'll leave all the pivots up. And then if you guys want to just use pivot 3 or you guys want to use pivots 1 and 2, you guys can use it. It's not too difficult to look at the colors. Pivots 1 and 2 are blue and green, and then pivot 3 is going to be orange. Yeah, Maria also mentioned that she didn't enter the candle after a momentum signal. Yeah, I don't do it that way either, Maria. Vincent knows how to do that. You know, that works with his way of applying the strategy. For me personally, I think it's a little risky. So I personally wouldn't do that as well. So I think that's fine, Maria. I mean, with your results are pretty incredible. So I would probably just follow what you're doing if we're just trading from 6:30 to 8, because it seems like all trades between 6:30 and 8 are all winners. So I would just hold that. Let's see. Chrissy's asking, hey, Sean, what date is the motivational meeting held on? So I'm not sure. I'm kind of confused with your question, Chrissy. Is a motivational meeting, is that like a news meeting or something? I don't know where the motivational, I didn't see any motivational meeting here on the news. Let me check the calendar. CT said motivational meetings every day at New York Open. Oh, do you mean mentoring session, Chrissy? Because Brian just said mentoring session, maybe. Okay, yeah, mentoring session is held on Mondays at 2 p.m. Yeah, no, you're fine. I was like, I don't know what a motivational meeting is. But yeah, no, it's held on Mondays at 2 p.m. So yeah, if you guys want to go deep into this strategy, I recommend attending the mentoring session on Monday because I'll be covering this stuff in detail. I think this will be our main topic. I'll probably even backtest like a whole week or a whole couple months of this strategy here, and I'll just work on my own backtest. So if you guys want to do that, then make sure to attend there. So Chrissy said when you say 6 or 8. So I'm not sure if you're on daylight savings time, Chrissy. I don't know where you're located. If you need to find out what the time zone is, just go to go to the timezoneconverter.com. All right, so if you go to the timezoneconverter.com, this will be your local time, and just put in California here, because I know like some states don't have daylight savings time. We're in daylight savings right now, so you just go over here, put 2 p.m. and then if you're Eastern, because I don't know if you're Eastern daylight savings or just regular Eastern time, standard time, the time's going to be a little different. I'm pretty sure you guys are on daylight savings time. So it'd be 3 hours ahead. So it'd be 5 p.m. your time. Okay, yeah, if you're on daylight savings, then it would be 5 p.m. for you. So guys, if you guys are ever confused about the time zones, just go to the timezoneconverter.com, and then that will that'll help you figure out what time is the session for you. Yeah, no problem, Chrissy. It'll be 5 p.m. your time. All right. All right, guys. So there's still no entries for us right now at the moment. Let's see. Christian said high-low TP. Are you guys talking about the high-low scalp? So there's a high-low scalp right here. I'm assuming that's what you guys are referring to, right? Christian and Maddie. It's price broken, close below the low right there. Yeah. One thing that I started to notice too is if you guys look at high-low scalps that break and close past the lower lows and higher highs, they're actually a lot better entries. So like, for example, right here, I know you guys like to apply that. All right, there's a possible entry right here, guys. For, I think it's correct, yeah. For a high-low momentum scalp. You'd have to wait for the signal to actually close though. See, I don't like how the candles move here today on Friday. Like this would have been a good high-low momentum scalp because it was above the pivot right there, pivots 2, but it looks like it's not closing. So unfortunately, guys, no entry right here. It's going to be invalid, it looks like, unless it closes at the last second. No. Okay, so that's an invalid signal right there. So it doesn't meet criteria. You guys can see here on Friday, these candles are kind of weird. They're not moving like smoothly. They're kind of just really jumpy, and you have to like really wait for them to close. This candle's like way up here, like a few seconds ago. If it closed above there, that would have been an entry for a high-low momentum scalp. But unfortunately, it was not. It didn't sit properly. But yeah, just going back to what I was discussing with Maddie and Christian, if you guys are applying the high-low scalp, not the high-low momentum scalp, guys. So just make sure you guys are not mixing up these strategies. These are totally different strategies. If you guys are taking the high-low momentum scalp, one thing that I started to notice when I was backtesting the strategy is if you are identifying just the lower lows and higher highs, they typically hit. Like for example, right here, right? The one that Maddie and Christian just saw. There was a high low right here, but it was a lower low. So you saw price break and close below it. If you would have taken that entry there for 100 pips, obviously would have hit TP. Right there. So I think I might, I need to connect with my brother. I need to see if he can maybe turn off the higher lows and lower highs and just have higher highs and lower lows. Cause I think those are like a lot more accurate compared to having a lot of these higher lows and lower highs throughout the chart. I mean, it's not difficult to identify them, but I do think that it's useful. So again, over here, see how there's a higher high, price broken, close past it. And that would have been a quick 100 pips right there as well. So yeah, I mean, it's some big advancements with the high-low indicator, because we haven't been using the high-low indicator for a while now, but now that we've kind of incorporated a lot of these other things, it's been super useful. Hey, Guido. Yeah, Guido said red folder, orange folder, yellow folder coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it's right here at 7 o'clock. Guido, thanks for the heads up. I got it marked up here on our chart too, the red bar. So it's coming up in about 5 minutes. So probably no entries from now until then. A lot of high impact news right here. Michigan consumer sentiment, Michigan inflation expectations, Michigan 5-year inflation expectations, Michigan current conditions, Michigan consumer expectations, etc. It's a lot of inflation news, recession news, and stuff like that. So we'll be waiting for this to play out. We got prelim UOM consumer sentiment, prelim UOM inflation expectations, etc. So, all right, we just gotta wait for this news event to pass. Yeah, exactly. Christian said news in 5, no FOMO. Definitely. Nice. So Ross over here is profits. Let this load up real quick. Yeah, CT said the spread on MFF is wide right now. So just an FYI, guys, be careful if you guys are looking to take anything. We currently got a sell signal here on the 5, and we have a pending sell signal here on the 10. So I see there's a pending momentum signal here on the 1 minute. If that was to close, it would not be a momentum scalp, because we need a momentum here on the 10 minute. So market's still kind of messy right now. This right here wouldn't be a momentum scalp variation because of the red flag. And then also on top of that, there's no sell momentum on the 10 minute right now. It's currently pending. All right, so looking at the profits over here from Ross. Ross is currently up 22,600 for the day. Amazing work right here, Ross. Yeah, pretty solid. We have Maddie over here, total profit of 1,188. Nice work, Maddie. And then we have Sisuk over here, total profit of 1,200 for the day. All wins as well. So solid work, guys. Great profits. We have David over here, total profit of 405 for the day. Nice work, David. Maddie over here, 818 on this one. All right, solid work, guys. So other than that, I think that's about it for right now. There's no entries for us to take at the moment. It's just a game of patience right now, guys. I think this is the market really playing with you at the moment. And you guys have to make sure that you don't let the market take advantage of your emotions right here. Because I can see a lot of people trying to chase these moves here. Like, for example, I see how price is dropping. And even myself personally, I probably would want to chase this for a sell, but I know I'm not going to do it because, FOMO gets the worst of everybody. If you guys have any FOMO in a trade, that's like the worst feeling, because you guys will take the trade, it'll go straight to drawdown, and you'll be so mad at yourself because you would have just regretted taking that trade. So make sure that if you guys are taking an entry, only take it if you have some sort of analysis behind it. So right here, price is coming down. Just because it's coming down doesn't mean you should enter a sell. You should actually have some sort of strategy behind it. So just keep that in mind when you guys are looking for entries here, because this can easily just spike right back up. We don't have any higher highs, lower lows here, so there's nothing for us to necessarily look at. There's no sell signal here on the 10. We need that there for momentum scalp and momentum scalp variations. But yeah, at the moment, there's just nothing for us to take right now. So it's just going to be a matter of time until we can find something better. And we got news right now in about one candle as well. So pretty much just got to wait for the news to pass. But yeah, if anybody has any other back testing that they've done, feel free to send them in. I'll compare and contrast them. But I think right now our leading back test for the new strategy is going to be Maria's, because the way she's been applying it obviously works very well. Here's Christian's profits, total profit of 969 for the day. Nice work, Christian. Yeah, look at this thing spike up. So this is exactly what I was just warning you guys about earlier, right? I was like, don't chase the sell because price can easily spike back up. And look what happened with the price right here. It spiked right back up. This market's just it's just manipulation going on right now. So just be careful if you guys are taking trades. I mean, if you guys have analysis behind it, then that's fine. Go ahead and do what you need to do. But obviously you can see right here, this is not necessarily the type of market you want to trade in. Here's the clean chart over here. You guys can see there's no direction. Price is back at opening price right here. That's the typical market return price. And it just keeps bouncing back and forth. Right, it's just back and forth movement right there. Yeah, Christian said drink the tea, Sean, because temperature is cold right now. You know, it's weird. The weather here in California is like back and forth. Like yesterday was pretty warm. Like we didn't even need a jacket yesterday. And I went to sleep last night. It was super hot. I had to like sleep with the flat, like with the AC on. The weather is weird. I just want it to either be really hot or to be really cold. Because like right now it's like back and forth. Yeah, I'm hoping I don't get sick again because being sick sucks. It's hard for me to host these live sessions when I'm sick because I'm always congested. Yeah, Christian said they have the same thing happening in Tampa right now. Yeah, right. It's a weird global warming thing. It's typically it'd be super hot by now. Yeah, no, I'm definitely having my vitamins for sure. All right, guys. So back to the charts right here, we have a higher high. With this said, we'll probably be looking for a sell signal to come up. If the sell signal closes below pivots 1 and 2, or a 1 or 2, then there could be a possible entry for a high level momentum scalp. Looking over here on the 5 and 10, it's still pretty bearish, but the 5 is starting to push up a little bit higher. But I think it's going to come back down. So it's just a waiting game right now, guys. I know a lot of you guys hate this, especially with the new strategy, because you guys were anticipating to take a bunch of entries. They'll come. It's just a matter of time until they'll come. So it's got to be patient with it. Natasha said it is very weird. Yesterday it was warm and rainy, but I woke up today and it's cold and with snow on the ground. Yeah, where are you located, Natasha? That's pretty like crazy. The climate change over there is like that crazy. Over here it was raining yesterday too, and it stopped. Rain in the morning. Oh, okay, gotcha. You're in the Midwest, Kansas City. That makes sense. Yeah, thankfully it's not like that here. Over here it's either like kind of cold, really cold, kind of hot, or really hot. But yeah, we don't go from like having a sunny day to snowy day the next day, thankfully. All right, guys. So let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. Nice work, Jay, over here. Jay locked in a total profit of 2,082 for the day. Just locked in a bunch of buys over here at NASDAQ. So solid work right there. Yeah, Maddie said Fridays are nasty. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing dumps and takes out the lows. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either, Maddie. Because overall, if you look over here on US30, it's still bearish. It was bearish on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 10-minute, 5-minute. So if this thing comes straight back down, I wouldn't be surprised. Like that'd just be normal. That'd be what I would have expected. Dejan said I've kept my AC at 65 since August. I know, Dejan, you're over there you're in Atlanta, right? Or Georgia? Or I mean, yeah, Atlanta, Georgia, same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I can't do weather like that. How you guys have it on the East Coast or Midwest? It's like it's not consistent. Well, I mean, you guys have the actual season, so it's different. You guys get actual stuff that happens over there. Over here in California, it's usually summer all year round, but this year's been different. Yeah, Lucas said I was going to say Indiana Midwest easily has the most bipolar weather in the country. I agree. Hey, Lucas, do you guys still have daylight savings out there? I mean, you probably don't know because you haven't been living out there for a while, but Kit mentioned yesterday that you guys don't practice daylight savings anymore. It's interesting. And we shouldn't, but it is what it is. I see a question from Vince. Vince is asking, can you explain if 632 would have been a high-low momentum scalp? Let me go check real quick. 632. 632, 632, 632. No, so this one right here wouldn't be a high-low momentum scalp, Vince, and I'll just show you real quick. So what would you need? What you would need here is you would need this momentum signal to break and close past pivots 1 and 2, right? So right here, you can see price, the candle before it broke and closed below it already. So right here, this one broke below it. This one over here was like right in the middle. So it wasn't breaking and closing past any structure, right? Any pivots. So this wouldn't be an entry there because it wouldn't fulfill the third requirement. So you need to confirm price breaks and close past pivots 1 and or 2. So you can do 1 by itself, or you can do 1 and 2, or you can just do 2 by itself. Right here, this candle didn't break past any of them. So this wouldn't have been an entry for a high-low momentum scalp. And then also, if you were to look back at that, so looking back at Maria's criteria, she would only take this trade if it was above or below pivot 3, right? So pivot 3 is going to be the orange pivot. You can see here that this candle here didn't close below it. So she wouldn't have taken this trade either. So using Maria's criteria, it lines up the same with mine. Because for this one here, it doesn't close below it. And then also for mine, it didn't break and close past it. So I mean, either criteria here works. It's just it just wouldn't it wouldn't meet either of the criteria. So whether you're using my criteria or Maria's, it still wouldn't fit the criteria for an entry. All right. All right, so this might be it right here. If this here closes below the blue pivot, then this could be a possible entry right here for a high-level momentum scalp. You got to actually wait for it to close though, guys. So just keep that in mind. You guys have to be patient and wait for it to close because it still has 30 seconds left on this candle. A lot can happen between now and 30 seconds. Trying to think if it's 25.50 would work better. No, it's too wide. It has to be 130. All right, so as you guys can see right here, this is really important that you wait for the momentum signal and it closes below this blue pivot. If it doesn't close, then it's not going to be an entry. And this candle is too big. So I think I didn't enter the trade, guys. I'm going to follow it, but I didn't enter it. The candle is just a little too big when it closed below because I'm still debating whether I want to use a 25.50 or a 10.30 because 25.50 is going to be safer, of course. I didn't end up taking the trade because I was waiting for it to close. And then, yeah, because I think the 30 pip stop loss or 300 pip stop loss might be a little too tight because the candle's too big. I mean, if you guys are taking it, great. I'm following it though, so we'll see where it goes. Looks like it's gonna hit TP though. So we'll follow it. This is the criteria. So let me show you guys the criteria again over here. There you go, full TP. If you guys took it, great. I wish I would have taken it, but it is what it is. It's all good. It's got to figure out what a good TP stop loss would be because I think this here would have been okay, but you guys can see the big range right here. I probably would have wanted to use a 25.50. So if you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, I mean, it's TP. So there goes a live example of the high-level momentum scalp. I'll put the criteria up here again. We'll explain it real quick. But you guys can see how simple it is, right? Very, very simple strategy. So looking at this right here, guys, this is a high-level momentum scalp entry because we have first identify a high-low or lower-low using the high-low indicator. There's a higher high right here. Second, identify a valid momentum signal. There's a sell signal right here. 3, confirm price break and close past pivots 1 and 2. This candle right here, the momentum signal closed past pivots 1 and 2, the green and blue. And fourth, you can enter on the close of the valid momentum candle. So for this right here, I really wanted to take the trade. The problem with this is that it was kind of too big of a range, right? So what I was going to use was I was going to use the 2550 right here, which would have played out whether you used 100 pips or 250 pips. Either way, your TP would have been hit. It blasted right through the TP regardless. But yeah, this is the entry that came up right here. So I'll send this in the group over here. And then nice, Dan took it. So looks like a lot of you guys here did hit. Christian caught it. Maddie caught it. Yeah, everyone caught it. CC caught it. All right, perfect, guys. So there goes the I'll just add this in the group here so that you guys, because I know a lot of you guys want to go back and rewatch this and just identify it. So there you go, guys. I should have just hopped into it. I was thinking too much because I was trying to figure out what the TP stop loss was. I should have just got in for 25.50, made adjustments as price came down, but it's all good. I mean, it is what it is. I'm glad that a lot of you guys here did profit off it. Jay took it as well. Total profit of 2,142 for the day. Nice work, Jay. We got Vincent over here. Total profit of 536 for the day. Solid. We got Maria over here. Total profit of 365 for the day. Great work, Maria. Yeah, Sisu here. Total profit of 1,850. Great work right there, Sisu. And here are some more profits as well from CC. Total profit of 2,450. You took the sell right there for a full TP. So great work, guys. We have Deswell over here. Total profit of 3,218. Took the sell right there as well. So it looks like, I mean, basically everyone took the trade. So you guys can see if you guys wait and you guys are patient, you know, these trades are going to come up. So this trade over here came up. MC as well took the sell. Total profit of 460 for the day. Nice work, MC. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here trusted the move and you guys took it. I was just a little too slow on it because I was taking too much time to analyze the move here. But I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here. If not, everybody took the trade and hit your GP. So looking pretty solid, guys. CJ caught it as well. Nice work, CJ. CT mentioned caught the short one, 10 pips or 10 points since it was close to news near open. When market calms down, can open the TP up a bit. Yeah, and I agree with you too, CT. That's why I was kind of hesitant on the trade. Crazy said, it's okay, Sean. I was scared to take it. Yeah, no, it's all good. You know, I knew the trade was going to play out. I was just trying to figure out what the TP stop loss would have been. So I might just leave my stop loss at 500 at all times, and I'll just make adjustments as price moves along. I think that's probably going to be the best case scenario here because the market's been kind of jumpy lately. So it's been a little, it's been a little confusing as to, you know, whether to use the 1030 or 2550, because you guys can see over here, I have it, you know, based on conditions right here provided for 2550, but I was kind of set on taking it for a 1030. So it's all good. Move on to the next one. We might find another one here, but you guys can see how easy this strategy is, right? Super simple. Like this has like very little guesswork. You just had to wait for the candle to close. As soon as it closed, you could have entered for a sell and it would have been a solid entry for anybody who decided to take it. So, all right, guys, on to the next one over here. I don't think we have a sell signal here on the 10 yet. It's currently pending. Still has 6 minutes left on it, so it's got a lot of time. Same with the 5 here. So there's no momentum scalp variations and no momentum scalps that can be taken at the moment. There's a possible high-low scalp over here for you guys who like to take that trade. Maddie and Christian, I don't know if you guys are looking at it, but there's one right here that, I mean, it was pending, but now it's spiked back up, so it didn't close below it. So yeah, no, great work right there with those trades. Nice. Yeah, Christian said he's on sniper mode. So Christian here is looking for these trades here. It does not look like it's going to close below it. You know, one thing that I was curious about was gold, if it worked well on gold as well. Because gold is something that a lot of people like to apply. So I was just a little curious. Let me take off the gold bars. I need the gold bars too much. Yeah, gold is kind of like iffy. I don't know if I'd apply it on gold. Maybe not on the 1 minute, probably on the higher time frames. I mean, it does look like it still works out, though. It's just not as accurate. So there's a low over here, price broken close past it right there. That'd have been a win. I mean, depending on what the CP stop loss would be, I'm assuming it'd still be the same. 100 to 300, of course. This one here looks like this one might have been a loss. I don't know. It could be wrong. Looks like it just barely hit CP right there. You know, the criteria that I'm looking at, I'll have to test it some more, guys, because the criteria that I was looking at earlier with regard to the breaking and closing past the pivots, I got to see if this is better or if Maria is better. So like Maria, I think for Maria's criteria, she just uses pivot 3, I believe, right? So I'll have to message you, Maria. But Maria, I'm not. I just want to make sure that this is correct. So for you, when you're looking for entries here, you're only looking at pivot 3, right? So you're basically looking for so pivot 3 only. I just want to make sure, because if yours works better, because yours is actually a lot easier compared to mine. So you wouldn't have taken the sell right here then, right, Maria? Because it was like above the pivot 3. So I'm assuming you would have ignored this one right here. Okay, gotcha. So what I'll do here is I will probably test it with both. I'll test it with pivots 1 and 2, and I'll test it with pivot 3. And then from there, we'll I'll see what has a better win rate, right? If I have a better win rate, then I'll take mine. If Maria has a better win rate, I'll take hers. So gotcha. Okay, so she waits for one candle to close below. So the way that Maria does it here, so I'm just going to explain this again, Maria. So for you right here, I'm assuming that if you don't have this close below, you wait for the next candle to close below it. So you wouldn't have taken this momentum signal, but you would have taken this one right here, if I'm correct. That one right there, and then you would have entered that for a sell. Because I've seen how Vincent takes it as well, and he takes it sometimes like that. He waits until it crosses below it. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because now we were trying to figure out what Vincent was doing with our group, because he was taking trades that were not on momentum signals. All right, perfect. So let me just use only pivot 3. I'm taking notes, guys. So I'm not talking to you guys right now. I'm just talking to myself. Use pivot 3. So Maria, for your results here, that's how you were applying it, right? For your spreadsheet. Just want to make sure, because if that's your data, then this is the way that we should be applying it. So for your back test, Maria, is that what you use? Use pivot 3, right? Just want to make sure. And Christian, if you guys took your trade right here, I marked up the high low. If you guys took it, you and Maddie, it hit TP already. Just want to give you guys a heads up for that too. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of different strategies here that you guys can apply. This is called a high-low scalp. It's not a high-low momentum scalp, but it's just high-low scalp. Sisu cut, nice work. Yeah, so right here on the screenshot, this is where, yeah, no, it starts to make, it makes a lot more sense here now that you guys have confirmed that. Thanks, Maria. All right, perfect. So, all right, now that they've, so here's the thing where I'm a little like worried about. So like Maria, looking over here at the 634 candle, would you have taken this one right here? I'm just curious because I'll have to test both of them, but you know, like right here, it looks like there's a higher high, sell momentum. It doesn't close below, but this one over here does close below. I'm just curious if you would have taken this one because I think this one here would have been a loss, right? Yeah, this one here would have been a loss, it looks like. So I'll just have to test both. I'll have to test the way that I apply it, and I'll test the way that Maria applies it. But it's okay if this was a loss here, Maria. I just want to make sure because we want to. It's okay, but I was new and it was a risky one. Yeah, I'm just curious if this is one you would take because this one here it did come late too. There's a higher high, sell momentum, price broke and closed below right here. This one would have been a loss, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll test both, guys. Before we change the criteria here, I will test both. And then, you know, whatever has a higher win rate or whatever is more profitable, we'll stick to those requirements. Or we can also have a small variation to it, right? We can have this or the other. Either apply it the way I'm doing it or the way that Maria and Vince do it. Because my goal here is just to make the strategy as profitable as possible. You know, the more profitable that we can make it, the better. So, all right, guys, there's no entries for us right now. At this moment, I'll just leave all the pivots open because I think this is going to be more useful for us here so that we can use either the 1 and 2 pivot or the pivot 3. Yeah, but the thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that losses will happen regardless. So when you guys are testing a strategy, it's okay if there's losses. That's actually a good thing because when there's a loss, you can study that loss and figure out what could have been done differently. So we will see where this ends up going. Let's see some more profits over here from you guys in the group. So we got CSIC over here, total profit of 3,800 right now. He just took that sell, that high-low scalp over there, total profit of 800 on that one. So nice work, CSIC. Total profit of 3,800 on his account. We have Cern over here, total profit of 410, all wins for the day. Nice work, Cern. All right, so we'll see if there's any other entries here. I'm hoping we get at least one more entry from now until market close. But yeah, so this right here would be another one. So the downside to the way that Maria and Vincent kind of apply the other way is that sometimes it'll happen like really late. Like price will, like you have a low here, momentum signal, but the candle doesn't actually close pivot 3 until way up here. This one right here would have been a loss too, but it's pre-market, so not one that I would personally take. You know what I'll do, Maria, is I'll look back at your results and I'll actually pull it up on my chart and I'll just back test it and see how it ends up playing out. Anyways, back to the charts here. Let's go back to the 5 and 10, see if there's any direction here. All right, we have a sell signal here on the 5, sell signal here on the 10. Right here on the 1 minute, we're basically looking for momentum scalp failure. So we're looking for a buy signal here to come up. That's going to provide an entry for momentum scalp failure. And then from there, we can look for a momentum scalp variation to follow it. Gotcha, Maria. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks for the clarification right there. Oh, gotcha. Okay. So, okay, it's starting to make sense now. So the way that Maria applies it, it can't be invalidated by any high level, like high lows in between. Gotcha. Okay. No, it's starting to make a lot more sense here. I think your guys' way of applying it is actually a lot more accurate too. There's going to be less entries, but it's a lot more accurate. All right, Maddie. Maddie said well over 1%, almost 2%, and he's out. Gonna head to the barbershop early today. Got 12 hours. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right, Maddie. Have a great day. Great weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday. Cool. So Maddie's done for the day. Solid profits. All right, we got a lower low right here. I'm gonna add that to my notes. Maria. All right, solid. Let's see. Shannon said held from yesterday, fixing my sloppiness so I can succeed. Caught US30 at the low yesterday. Did not set a TP. I missed half the points, almost double the account. But her intent was to copy on her challenges. So she's proving himself to herself what she needs is one good trade. Yeah, Shannon over here, huge profit, but yeah, no, you just need like one good trade. Or I mean, basically proving to herself what she read about one good trade. So like basically if you have one good trade a day, that's all you really need. It's just one good trade and consistency. Here's Christian, total profit from Christian, 1,095 for the day. You took that high-low scalp earlier. Nice work, Christian. Maddie over here, total profit of 1,188 for the day. All wins as well. Nice work, Maddie. Definitely. See, question from Vince. Vince is asking, would 707 be a momentum scalp? Let me check. Yeah, this is the one that we took, Vince. So this is the one that we actually took here on the live session, the one that we posted up. That's that same entry right there. So yeah, that'd be a momentum scalp. There's a higher high right there. Sell momentum. It's breaking, closing past pivots 1 and 2. And that would be the entry right there. So Vince is asking if it would be, oh, sorry. Okay. So I read your question wrong, Vince. So I don't think that'd be a momentum scalp because I don't think there was a sell signal in the 5 and 10. Yeah. So if you look over here, you can see my crosshairs is back on 5 and 10. If you look back at this candle, there was no sell signal there on the 5 and there was no sell signal there on the 10. So this right here would be a high level momentum scalp, but not a regular momentum scalp because there's no sell signal on those time frames. So it'd just be the high low momentum scalp, not the other. Let's see, question from D. D's asking, hey Sean, can you post up Maria's conditions? I missed it. Yeah, sure. So, or I don't really have her conditions marked up anywhere. D. So like the difference with this here, I'll put it up over here. I'll just change mine. So this is mine right here. And I'll make a few little changes over here for Maria. So identify her high. There's changes though for the 3. So this is the main thing that changes here. Right, so their criteria here is a lot longer. All right, so this is the criteria for it's color blue. This is a criteria for Maria and Vincent, their conditions. Just gonna save this. And I'm gonna save this as well. Yeah, so there's a criteria for theirs. I mean, both of them work fine. It's just they're different criteria. I'm gonna have to test both and see what works better. I'll probably be spending this whole weekend doing that. So we got time. Right. All right, 7:31 right now. So there's not really much for us to work with right now. There's a lower low down below, but there's no buy signal that came up after it. Yeah, no problem, D. Yeah, so now that you guys have the criteria over here, you guys can, I mean, if you guys want to back test it, you guys can play around with it. I'm probably gonna be back testing all weekend. I don't really have anything planned to do this weekend aside from Sunday, but I'll be doing a lot of back testing this weekend. All right, 7:31 right now. No entries for us at the moment. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna use the same I'll use the same spreadsheet that I shared with you guys in the group. I'll just create another column. So for example, over here, I gave this basic like setup right here. I have another column if I'm going to be applying I'll just say pivots 2 and 3 or then pivots 3. Because then it'll just be a different entry. All right, but it's 7:33 right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm still looking for entries here. I'm looking for at least one more entry for me to take. I kind of want to close out the day with some profit from this live session, but if not, I'm not going to be forcing anything. I already have some profit from this, from the pre-market session. So I'm in profit for the day. It's just nothing from this session because I didn't hop into the last one, unfortunately. But we're still applying our original strategy. So don't worry, guys. The original strategies are still being applied. It's just it's just we've added this new strategy, which is basically a momentum scalp, but it's a little change to it. Incorporates the high lows. And it helps with it just helps with different market conditions. Like today, right now, the market's moving kind of slow. So it's kind of hard for us to catch anything at the moment. I mean, it's not moving slow, but it's not really moving in the direction that we needed to. Let me see if there's any V2. Okay. There's one right there, actually. So there's a lot of entries that have been coming up. I don't know if you guys have been. So there's a couple of strategies here that I think you guys should probably focus on. I mean, obviously there's 3 that we're applying here on the live, but I think here main strategies for all market conditions. So this is what I'll do here. Because the thing is, like I was just talking with CT yesterday, we have a strategy for pretty much every type of market condition. So like trending, directional, and we have the momentum scalp variation, or sorry, let's do momentum scalp failure, scalp variation. Yeah, this thing is starting to drop pretty heavy. So, I mean, there's really like two types of markets. There's like a ranging market and then an SR and then a ranging market. The market's not typically ranging for US30 when we trade it, so it's not necessary to really focus on that, but it's a good addition to have. Anyway, you can still use the SR rejection even on directional markets. Rejection scalp. And so if you guys are like curious as to like what strategies to apply during certain markets, trending directional, obviously, these main ones here: momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp, high-low momentum scalp, and the SR rejection scalp. And then, for example, if market's going sideways, you can just take SR rejection scalp entries. So, I mean, this is a strategy pretty much for all types of market conditions here. I mean, it depends on like what you guys are looking to take. But for the most part, if you guys are looking for something, these are all the strategies that I've been discussing here on the live session. The main ones that we apply during the live sessions are the momentum scalp, like basically all the momentum scalp entries. So like these three. And then this one we just introduced yesterday. It's the one that Vincent applies. And the reason why we started applying this strategy here, the momentum scalp or the high-low momentum scalp, is because Vince has been, so if you guys weren't on the session yesterday, Vince has been on the top leaderboard of FTMO for like the past 3 to 5 months now. Yeah, so Vincent over here, he's been like number 9 or number 8. He's been top 10 pretty much for the past 3 or 5 months. So the reason why we came up with this other strategy down here was because I asked him, like, what are you doing? What are you doing that's different from what we're doing here on the live sessions? Because the thing is, we're winning too, but he's winning a lot more and a lot more consistently. And that's why we created this strategy here. It's a little twist that he put onto the momentum scalp, but he just incorporates the high-low. The beneficial thing about this strategy here, guys, that I want to show you guys is that it kind of incorporates all of the main things that you need in a trading strategy. So it kind of covers all aspects. So I'll show you right here. So the first requirement is to identify a high low, right? So I'll just show you, I'll use this example up here as the explanation. So for the first step right here, and don't worry, guys, you guys are not missing any trades here, or actually you might be missing one right here. This is a possible high-low momentum scalp if it closes. I just saw that. I need to turn off the volume. Volume is too high. All right, so there's a lower low right here. Damn, I missed the trade again. Fuck. Just trying to explain the thing earlier. So I'll see if I can get into this for a later entry. I'm still torn between like if I use a 1030 or use a 2550 TP stop loss. Because I think the stop loss is too tight because the range here is so wide where I think it'd be safe to do a 2550 instead of a 1030. So there you go, as it pushes into profit. It depends on like what you guys want to set it to. If you guys want to have it, it depends on your confidence. If you're confident about the move, take the bigger move. If you're not confident about the move, then take the smaller TP, right? For this entry right here, I wanted to take this, but I'm still not in the position yet because I'm just not comfortable with it right now. I'm still trying to figure out what TP stop loss should be. I just don't like this type of market because this type of market is such a jumpy market where if your stop loss is too tight, it can easily come back, hit your stop loss, and then shoot right to your TP. So I just ended up not entering this trade, guys. I wanted to enter it, but I'm just not confident with this type of market on a Friday. So it's all good. I didn't end up taking the trade. But yeah, you guys have to determine whether you want a 25.50 or I think 25.50 might be better because you guys can see how far this range is, right? If you're using a 300 pip stop loss, what could happen here is price can pull back, stop you out, and then come right back up, right? So you want to have some sort of cushion there. But I didn't end up taking the trade because I just didn't feel comfortable with the movement right here. So going back to the criteria, guys. So this is one of the criteria to apply. And then the other criteria was the one that Maria was applying. I need to test both of the strategies to figure out which one do we want to use best. So for this one over here, this would not be an entry for Maria and Vincent's way of applying it. However, this would be an entry for the regular momentum scalp over here. So, I mean, it's still technically running right there at where it's currently at. But yeah, like what Maria said, she said, now it's invalidated with a new high. So now that this one over here has a new high right here, this would not be an entry for this one. So there's two different entries here. Momentum scalp, Maria and Vincent. So you guys can see how choppy it is right here. I mean, not choppy, but it's like, it's a big, because the range here is so wide, I think even a 25.50 might be too tight because you would want to cover the entire swing, right? So you might have to use like a 75, but at that point, it's no longer a scalp. It becomes an intraday entry at that point. Because it's so spread out. I see a question from Vince. Vince is asking, but you wouldn't know that until the 740 candle close, right? Yeah, well, at 740. So basically when this candle right here, right before it closed, that's when you would know. But she wouldn't have taken her entry until price closed above here, Vince. So she'd be waiting for this candle to push up to this point up here. So this wouldn't matter. She wouldn't make any entry at this point until price closed above here. When price closes above here, this is where Maria would take her buy entry. So it's a little different. For this here. Yeah, exactly. Patrick said you could always lower lot size and increase TP stop loss. Yeah, I agree 100%. We could do that. But the problem with increasing TP stop loss to like 75, like how I marked it up here, is that it's no longer a scalp trade, right? At that point, it's such a big move that it now becomes an intraday trade. So by doing that, we kind of change the strategy completely. So that's why I don't want to adjust the TP stop loss too heavily. And I think Fridays are like the worst days because like for Maddie's, so Maddie turned in his results. Let me see if I have Maddie's here. Let me see if I can find it. Like all the losses that Maddie identified were from Fridays. So I was telling him, I don't think Friday's like a good day to really trade this strategy, or I mean, I guess some Fridays depends. Scroll up a little bit. Trying to find Maddie's data from yesterday. Not that one. I think it was in our private chat. Yeah, so looking over here at Maddie's data, He sent me this yesterday. He tested from like February 21st until March 3rd. He had a loss on Monday, which was at 8 o'clock. Probably would have skipped that one because it was already at 8. But so yeah, this one right here, cutoff is at 8, obviously our live session time. And then on Friday, he had 2 losses right here. So, I mean, Friday might be a day that we just skip it for the most part. Let's see some more profits over here from Jay. Nice work. So we put his TP and stop loss, total profit of 2,702 for the day. Well, on this specific account. So nice work right there, Jay. Barack just posted his profits as well. He's at Hayshawn 1 loss during the news candle at 7 a.m. Haven't checked because he wasn't on the group chat yet, but still a good day. Yeah, no, definitely. Total profit on Barack's side of 5,267 for the day. Nice work, Barack. Yeah, solid prof right there. Okay, I'll check out your chat like a little bit, Maria. So I don't have to like pull it up here on the live session, but I'll take a look at that. Thanks for sending that over, Maria. Other than that, let's see, Patrick over here, total profit from Patrick is 4,265 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Patrick. So Patrick's done for the day. Great work right there. All right, I'm going to clean this up real quick, guys, and I'm just going to explain what I was going over earlier. So let me just go over here real quick. Jacob's asking, what's the win rate if it's with the trend only? Sorry, Jacob, I'm trying to follow. So with regard to the trend, what do you mean by that? So is it one of these strategies, or are you talking about something different? Because the trend, I'm not sure like which way you, okay, with Maria's right here, that's what her spreadsheet is. So if you look at her spreadsheet from the one that we posted in the group, here, I'll send it over to you. This is with the trend. So I think Maria's might be actually a lot more accurate. It doesn't come up as often, but it seems a lot more accurate. So let me just send it to you, Jacob. Gotcha. Okay, I just saw your messages right now. I'll go over this once we're done with the live session. But I sent you over her back testing results, and that's basically from her is using the pivot 3. So yeah, basically using the trend there. All right, let me scroll up real quick. Some more profits here from Martha. Martha locked in a total profit of 1,680 for the day. Nice work, Martha. Solid profits right there. Christian's asking, so technically that entry is for a high-low momentum. This one right here, Christian. So if you're applying the high-low, if you're applying the one right here in the black, that would be the entry for that one. But now that I'm looking over here, because I didn't realize that Maria's conditions were different. Now that I've identified her conditions, I think we might be following this one instead. Well, I'll test both. I'll go back and I'll just test, because the thing is, if we have like a similar win rate, but more profitability on one or the other, then we'll follow the one that has more profitability, of course, right? So we'll I'll go and I'll test it over the weekend. Hopefully I'll have it done by Monday. It shouldn't take too long because we can only go so far with regard to our data. So once I go far enough and I identify things, then from there, we can play it out and see, you know, where it ends up going. But yeah, no, it looks like Maria's way of applying it actually works better, because that's the way that Vince applies it. And we should be sticking as close as possible to like how Vince applies it, rather than us changing it up. Because Vince is the one that's been on the top 10 leaderboard of FTMO for like the past, 3 to 5 months. So we should follow what he's been doing. I don't take as many trades, so I'm not able to get on that leaderboard. If you guys have seen, there's gonna be a lot of days where I don't take trades. And when I do take trades, it's like 1 or 2 trades a day. So like an individual account for me doesn't reach those heights. But I think with this specific strategy, there will be more entries, and it will also it'll also include, other momentum scalp entries that we're taking as well. So, all right, guys, it's getting close to 8. If there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I think this new strategy, there's still some there's some kinks we need to work out. But I think overall, it's still going to be pretty solid. So we just got to work out the kinks, figure out which one we want to follow, because we can't have too many different requirements here. So I'll probably go back and test those out pretty much as far back as I can. I can go back maybe 2 or 3 months. But then after that, we'll just have to live test it moving forward. All right, let me see if there's anything else here. So let's take a look at the higher time frames. Looking at everything here, things are still bearish. So if you look over here on the 30-minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, 5-minute, and 10-minute time frames, pretty much all the time frames here, everything's pretty much bearish, right? Reason for it being bearish is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, and the pivots are all angling down for pretty much all the time frames. So with that said, we're probably going to be looking for sells here. I mean, for the most part, if you guys are still deciding to trade, Friday's a bit of a wacky day. Right. So just a heads up, guys, if you guys are not familiar, Friday and Mondays are some of the riskiest days to trade. Reason for Friday is because a lot of people are exiting the market for the weekend. That's why you see a lot of a sell-off right here. You see how price is selling off as we get closer to the end of the session, because a lot of people are trying to remove their positions before they go into the weekend. So typically when someone's done trading, they just close out of all their positions and then they pretty much sell off on everything. So that's why you see a lot of a sell-off here that happens on Friday. On Monday, you typically see the opposite. You see price go up because people are buying back into the market. So just something to keep in mind. I didn't take any trades today, unfortunately. I took trades pre-market, so I'm still in profit for the day. I didn't take this one over here because it was a little iffy with the close. I was trying to figure out what the TP stop loss was going to be, but I didn't end up taking it. Christian's asking, can you post Vince and Maria's requirements? They're right here. They're the ones in blue, Christian. So they've been up here the whole time on this chart. Maria mentioned another important rule is a color rule, red candle in a red momentum, and that candle must close, and the candle that closes below must be red. Okay, good to know, Maria. So basically you need the colors to align with it. So, which is not too difficult, because in order for the price to close below the pivot 3, it has to be a red candle, right? Because that's the only way it'll drop down further. So thanks, Maria, for the heads up. Oh, Christian, here, I'll just post it in the group real quick. It's probably easier for you. There you go, Christian. I thought she meant post it up here on the live session. So I posted it right there in the chat. Yeah, I just missed another trade. I wasn't paying attention. There was a momentum scalp variation that came up right here. I don't know if anyone caught it, but I totally missed it. I wasn't looking at the charts. There's a momentum scalp failure here that came up, and then when the candle closed right back below the pivots right here, this was a momentum scalp variation. Yeah, Søren caught it. It's all good. My focus just isn't there today because I'm looking at this other strategy, and I'm also looking at my own strategy. So it just isn't coming up as fluid as it's been. Nice. Martha caught it as well. So Martha locked in a total profit of 1,120. So nice work right there, Martha. Hey, Maria. So like right before we get off, I just want to ask you one more question. So for this right here, would this be a momentum scalp or a high-low momentum scalp for you? Because we have a higher high here. We have a sell signal and it's below the pivot 3. So I'm assuming this here would be an entry for yours as well, right? I'm just curious. Or does price have to pull up? Maria said the problem is that the pivot 3 is above. Let's see. Yeah, so for the sell here, price should be below the pivot, right? Because I just want to make sure everything here is correct, because we have a higher high right here. We have a valid sell momentum right here, and we're confirming that price is below pivot 3. So I'm looking at this right here. I just want to make sure, because if I'm going to back test it, I want to make sure I have everything correct. So There's pivot 3 right there. There's a higher high, sell momentum below it. So I think this does meet criteria, right, Maria? I'm not sure if I'm wrong, then you're free to correct me. But I think this here would be an entry. I mean, maybe we'd probably use a bigger TP stop loss because it's such a big, range from where it's currently at. Maybe a 25.50 might be better. But let's see. Maria said pivot 3 must be above the high. Yeah, I think it is above the high right here, right? Because the pivot 3 is right here and the high is right there. So, oh, it's got to be below. Okay, so that's perfect. No, you're fine. I just want to make sure that we're getting everything here. Okay, so basically, you're looking for it to cross the pivot. I think that's what you guys are basically looking for. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, so the way that Maria is doing it, guys. So here it's a little different now. Now that I'm looking at it, their strategy is it's a bit different compared to it's similar to what I'm doing, except for me, I'm using pivots 1 and 2, and for them, they're using pivot 3. So like what they're doing is they're looking for a crossover of the pivot. So I need to change these again over here for the criteria. So that's not a criteria anymore. So I'm glad yeah, it's overextended exactly. That makes a lot of sense for you. That's why I was trying to figure out what was the situation here. Okay, so let me just go over the criteria over here again. So identify momentum signal. So I just got to change criteria number 3. Confirm price is change this. Okay, so I just need to change it. I mean, third requirement does make sense. It's just, okay, confirm price is above or below. I might just have to add another criteria. I'm just going to add one more here. Over below. Okay, so I just made small adjustments right here, guys, for the strategies. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. So I just changed it up a little bit right here, guys. So for Maria and Vincent's conditions, first you want to confirm price is above pivot 3 for a sell or below for a buy. Okay, now it makes a lot more sense. And I think I like this better because the requirements are a lot more strict. So looking at this here, in order for us to have a sell here, now we're looking for a higher high that is above. So basically the way that Maria and Vince are applying the strategy is that they're looking for a cross in trend. So either a cross in trend as a reversal or a correction. So like, for example, here, price is crossing above it. If we get a higher high at some point over here, when price comes back down, that's mean a correction back down. And then vice versa, if you're looking for a buy over here, you're looking for a lower low and you're looking for price to break and close past pivot 3. If that happens, then that's going to be a reversal to the upside. So it makes a lot more sense here, Maria. Thanks for clearing that up for me. Because the thing with this here, the problem with the other way of applying it is that, yeah, price can be overextended and they can easily just reverse on you. So yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense now, Maria. So I'll try to, I think what I'll do here is I will be looking, and I probably need to make adjustments over here as well for my own strategy. So I probably need price to be a below or above pivots 1 and 2. So like, for example, over here, because we're looking for that crossover. But typically that already lines up if I'm using pivots. Because in order for me to take any entry here, price actually needs to break past pivots 1 and 2. So it would have to be on the other side. So I think my criteria is fine. So like, for example, here, this is my criteria. I have a higher high and the momentum signal needs to break past pivots 1 and 2. So I might just have to change the requirement where it actually requires that it's both pivots 1 and 2, not just 1 or 2. I don't know, we'll see, we'll test it out. So, all right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. If there's any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and back test the strategy pretty much all weekend. I'm going to figure out what works best. I'll put the conditions up. And then from there, we'll determine whether we want to apply my version or if we want to apply Maria and Vincent's versions. I think Maria and Vincent's version is probably going to be better. It's a lot more strict, but the criteria lines up a lot better. You're not going to have as many entries. Like for me, you'll probably have like a couple entries throughout the day, but for theirs, it looks like you might be a little better. Another thing I got to figure out is determining the TP stop loss. Because like, for example, today, this trade, I totally skipped it and I skipped the other one over here. This one would have won, this one would have lost. But I don't know, maybe it's just today's conditions because market's not really moving as smooth as we like. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. You can email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com. Otherwise, you guys can message me on Telegram @KodiKaiTrades. If you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel and you guys want to watch these live sessions pretty much every day, just pull up our YouTube channel, youtube.com/KodiKaiTrades. Click subscribe and turn on your notifications. I go live about every day during the week, Monday through Friday. I go live multiple times on Monday for our mentoring session. So if you guys want to sit in on any of these sessions, they're all completely free. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you guys want access to all the strategies, just click unlock your free access right here. And this will give you access to pretty much the entire course. So earlier I mentioned, let me see. So I put these strategies right here, guys, right? I had the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp, high-low momentum scalp, SR rejection scalp. If you guys want to watch any of these videos to understand these strategies, just pull up the course. It's completely free for you guys here. Scroll down and then go to main strategies. Main strategies will have the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp. And then if you scroll down lower, you'll see the SR rejection scalp, which is also right here under the scalp strategies. And if you go down even lower, you go down to scalp strategy, you'll see the V1 variation, high-low scalp, etc. There's a lot of strategies here, about over 30 strategies that I've pretty much mastered over a 10-year period of trading. And you guys have access to all of it here. So, all right, guys, other than that, we're going to wrap it up for the day. It's 8 o'clock. So this is our cutoff for trading live each day. And we'll see where this strategy ends up. But I think, from our testing, the strategy looks very well. So I think this will be a solid time for us to put things together and really get everything on point. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great weekend, and I will see you guys back here